I don't feel like there's been a better time than ever to bring the squad truly, truly back. Episode, ironically, 411, as we're going to give you the 411 about our 11-2. Oh my God, that felt so good to say. New England Patriots. I know the last couple of years has been tough for her that she's been coming on here to talk about the team, but Sophie's back, and McGarvin and I, well, it's mostly me badgering them during games just with fun little texts and stuff like that. But I just, it's almost like it's a wild dream that I don't want to wake up from this year.
Yeah, I can start. I mean, it's crazy. I think that, listen, I expected this team to be a lot better than the past 2 years. Did I expect this? Absolutely not. There were certain games I had chalked up to losses, and they've surpassed those. And I think that the way that they played on Monday night should silence a lot of people regarding the schedule. Because the Giants have played some teams very close this year. Very. I mean, they have, yes, there's been some, but they've also, like, without Jackson Dart, Jameis Winston has led some, like, and without plenty of their players, and the Patriots blew them out. Like, and there's still a lot to improve on from that game, because they should have blown them out a lot more than they did. They could have scored a lot more with their red zone issues, but I think that game finally put the NFL on notice about the Patriots. No one's talking. I mean, the Bills didn't do it, and the Buccaneers game didn't do it, but for some reason, the Giants always seem to, in the Patriots game, that was the call. There was no Eli Brady, but, maybe Dart Nay is a close second now.
Yeah, did I think this team would be this good? No. It just looks much more competent on offense than I thought it would, like, by this point. Everything else is, like, not that surprising, but, like, because you're like, all right, their defense, like, all right, they keep the points down. They don't allow over 23. They haven't in the last eight games or whatever. And you think about that, and you're like, did I think this defense could be that good? Not really, but, like, I could see it. The offense being this good, couldn't even see it. So I'm obviously pumped. 11-2. I think, to your point, Sophie, you mentioned, this is the game that put the NFL on notice. I think it's really interesting because we had the Bills primetime game, right? And that's when everyone started like, okay, the Patriots, like, okay, let's see here, and then our next primetime game was the Jets. And by then, the Patriots were already rolling, but people still just didn't really believe. They're like, all right, but, like, it's the Jets. Then you go to New York, and New York isn't a good team, really. They're not. Like, they don't even have a coach, like, right? Like, they don't have a coach, they don't have a defensive coordinator or anything like that. Like, it's a bad team. So when people are like, oh, like, why would the Giants give them more credibility? It's because, like you mentioned, the Giants played some really, really close games. I mean, you think about Denver, right? Everyone thinks Denver is one of the best teams in the AFC, and I would agree with that. Denver, they held Denver scoreless for 3 quarters, then just had an epic collapse at the end there. But, like, that's
the
a
Giants,
team.
you can't count the fourth quarter. Giants play 3 quarters of football in a lot
That's
of
all they
games.
got. They just gotta shift it, play those 3 quarters on the back end.
Yeah, so if we're forgetting that last one, Broncos would have lost.
Yeah. So they play these teams close, and you can see, like, all right, like, they're a team with a bad record, but, like, there are parts of the team that you feel like, oh, they're pretty good at that, right? Like, their pass rush, obviously, you're like, yeah, they're gonna get after the pass. Yeah, they're gonna get after the passer. I think their secondary is a little underrated. Although I don't really like Tyler Newbin. I know people are, like, really high on him. But Cordell Flott, their corner, I know he got beat on the touchdown to Booty, on the fade. Happens to the best of us. He's a really good corner, though. So you see the pieces there. Like, you're like, okay, like, and I think just name brand, like, it's the Giants, so more people tuned in, right? Like, how many people do we think, like, hey, Patriots are playing the Jets on primetime, let's check that out? It's like, probably not. You have to be a fan of one of the other two teams, right? Like, you'd have to be a fan to watch that game.
Or there's
Giants,
nothing else on TV.
Right. Giants, though. The Giants, baby. Like, it's the Giants. Not only that, Monday Night Football obviously just has more appeal than Thursday, so...
Yeah, and, like, the big thing with me with that is just, like, Monday Night Football, how Drake's talking about before the game, oh, I'm so excited to play on Monday Night Football. The fact that I texted McGarvin that basically Christian Ellis decided, I'm going to turn to prime Troy Polamalu out there and just kill people. Two players I really want to point out who had good games on Monday night. One, and he didn't do much, but one, Ramondre Stevenson was really carrying the rock very well. And the other one is someone who had to come in because of injury relief. But I think Vidarian Lowe had a really good game at left tackle on Monday night. Like, as I always said this, I've been saying this for a few years. As a swing tackle and a backup, I'm okay with him. He had a great game. Ben Brown had a couple moments where it was a little shaky, but I really have to give my flowers to Vidarian Lowe. He didn't let a lot. Like, there was a couple plays where he got beat, but then, you know what, for the most part, he really held his own in there to where it can make us comfortable until Will comes back for hopefully divisional weekend. Which feels so good to say.
No, I'm so with you on that one. Like Vidarian, I actually wrote a story on Vidarian and Ben after the game, because those were two that stood out to me. And I mean, I think a lot of people were thinking that yes, the Giants have had their issues this year. The record says it all, but their defensive front they have some talent there. When Abdul Carter isn't sitting for the first quarter. With that whole thing. But no, I mean, they have a lot of talent on that defensive line. And I think a lot of people were worried that, you know, without Jared, without Will, your two starting left side, like they were just going to target that and Drake was going to be on the ground for a lot of the night. And I think, yes, there were shaky moments for both sides. But I will say, I think both Ben and Vidarian Lowe stepped up to the plate. Mike even said it in his post-game speech in the locker room. He goes, what about that left side of the line? Because that was not an easy task. They stepped in and made it look like they've been doing it all season. And I want to give those two their flowers in that game because I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, I think generally people are way too out on Vidarian Lowe. Is he a great player? No. Is he a rosterable player? Absolutely. I think you're comfortable with him for like 3 or 4 games. You're like, he's going to be fine. He's going to be like absolutely average because that's kind of who he's been as a player to this point. He's just been average. And like at that position, left tackle, I'll take average. Like I'll take average for a couple games if we know we have better coming. But like if he's your like third tackle, you feel pretty good about that. People are way too out on him. He's a good pass protector. That's like his bread and butter. Played a great game. Ben Brown still doesn't really move me a ton. He did a good job, but God, I just wish he had a little more oomph in the ground game. He just doesn't move people, and that's been my biggest issue, especially because the backs are doing what they're doing, and it's like but they're having to create a lot more than they need to be, and that's obviously not the fault of Ben Brown because I think even with Jared Wilson in there, that was a position they struggled with, right? They just can't generate power, behind the left guard. So I'd like to see a little more out of that, but I think Morgan Moses, had one of his best games as a Patriot. I was like, man, that guy's just out there. Like he got the matchup with Brian Burns more often than the other side. And Brian Burns is second in the league in sacks at 13. Like he is a pressure player. Like I'm talking like 5-6 pressures a game. Like he is a guy, like that is a guy you worry about, right? So yeah, everyone focused like Vidarian Lowe and Ben Brown. What are they going to do against him? And I'm more like, all right. At least Morgan Moses can take care of Brian Burns over on that side. We'll be all right. I thought he had a great game. He had a really nice block, a little combo block. I know that it's been making its rounds, but in real time I caught that. I was like, holy shit! That Morgan Moses like killed the guy. He absolutely just destroyed it. And obviously the play didn't go anywhere, but that's a play you're like, okay, cool. Like he's in the flow. He's like really getting after it, and like not having to worry about that side makes Vidarian Lowe and Ben Brown, that combo platter makes it a lot more palatable. You're like, they're gonna be fine out there, right? Like they'll be fine, but at least we don't also have to worry about the right side. If he goes down though, that would be tough. Also, Thayer Munford, he came in, he played as the jumbo
package.
That was cool. He came in at that left tackle, and they moved Vidarian Lowe around as the jumbo. So like that was pretty cool. I was a little surprised that he got on. That he got the call over Marcus Bryant, the 7th round pick. But, in hindsight, you think about it and you're like, all right, Munford has more experience playing both sides, whereas Marcus Bryant has like pretty much been your right tackle, your backup right tackle. I know in camp he repped both sides, but like it was pretty clear, like, all right, that's going to be a right tackle. Like that's cool. So I'm wondering if, you get Thayer Munford in there because like, all right, we can keep moving Vidarian Lowe around as our jumbo, And just Thayer Munford's just going to be all right for like the 3 snaps that we run that package. So that was cool. I like the plan they came up with on that line to kind of address those deficiencies.
I think we're giving these players, the whole offensive line this season, and Doug Marrone have surpassed,
especially Garrett Bradbury.
In my opinion. Yeah, Garrett Bradbury was a signing. I remember I was
People
actually
hated it.
I wrote a story. I
was annoyed.
I didn't mind it.
I'm with Griff. I wrote a story about that, saying the Patriots should pick up Garrett Bradbury in the offseason. I wrote that, and I remember people like on Twitter being like, "What the hell did you just write? Like, don't say that." Yeah. And I want to circle back and be like, "Yeah, because I think he has been lights out, great at center, and that I think the plan was initially you have him come in for a year, and then you have Jared Wilson take over that center role. Well, now he's looking like he can go. Him and Drake have this great connection. Why mess with that? And Jared's playing well at left. You know what I mean? But the way you talk about last season with the offensive line, what a mess it was. Doug Marrone comes in first year. Same way, it's all these guys first year comes in, and this offensive line group is so close too. That was one of the things I was talking to Ben and Vidarian about, their connection, and because they're really the only two, trying to think,
and the Shirley Temples.
Yeah, but who were there last season too. I mean, they've scraped a lot of this roster, but Vidarian and Ben were part of this team last year, and so they got.
I spoke about his trip when he had basically to take the red eye from Vegas to get to Boston.
It was the craziest thing. And so I kind of asked, I was like, what is it this year? And he's like, we're so close. That whole room is like the best of friends. And you can see it in the way they talk. I mean, I always say this, Marcus Bryant and Morgan Moses need a podcast together. They're the two funniest human beings. Oh my God, they kill me. It's just, I can't say enough about the offensive line. I'll stop now.
The other player, there's 2 players I really want to circulate back to here as a whole, because one is a player that someone made a very bold prediction about on this podcast back in August, and that was McGarvin on Kyle Williams, who's, not letting it go. But also, who is the player that McGarvin said wasn't going to be much of anything and now has to get a jersey for? Oh, that's right. You put one here, you put one here. McGarvin had the Lord Matt Canix really quickly, so...
Mechanics. Yeah, Mac's been great. Mac's been fantastic.
I think of it every time. I think of you every time he does something.
Every time, right? Holy shit, right? Every time I'm like, damn, I really said that shit. Like, he's been fantastic though. Like that's just been, he's just been so reliable. I think I just didn't give enough credence to how reliable his hands are. Like, he just doesn't drop passes. You're like, okay, cool. Like, he's just gonna be like, if he's there, like, just get the ball to him, he's going to catch it. And it just so happens that he's 6'4". He has that catch radius. He's able to adjust to a lot more than we saw it last week against the Jets when he went up and made that catch for the first down. You see, like, he can just adjust to the football really well. And I have a soft spot for big receivers, so I don't know why I was hating on Matt Collins like that, but he has been fantastic. And not only that, he's like a legitimate threat if you do not respect him defensively, right? Like,
which a lot of teams are not, because they're focusing on Stephon Diggs, or even Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas. Matt Hollins has been forgotten about, and Drake May is noticing.
And he is just fine. Yeah, and you're like, he's a legitimate enough threat that, like, if you're like, well, it's fine, we'll just have our like 4th corner cover him. It's like, that guy's gonna get toasted, brother. Like, that's just like, that's not gonna work.
It's just the thing with Mac is like, he's not going to get you these big game moments like on the stat lines, but he's going to have those few key plays where you go back and look on, you're like, hey, Mac's doing good. Like, even bringing up other receivers like Kayshon Boutte, breakout year, Demario Douglas, amazing year. But there's one player that I wanted to kind of talk to Sophie about, because there's a player McGarvin I think do well but gets a lot of flack online for some reason. That's Carlton Davis. I don't know where it comes from, but he even too, because I know there was the iffy calls in the game against Cincinnati, but when he needed to lock in, he locked in.
I think yes. No, I don't. I think it's because he's not Christian Gonzalez, and I think it's just fans want, if you could replicate Christian Gonzalez, but he's a different player. You're not getting another Christian Gonzalez, and honestly, like, I don't think there is. He's such a talented corner. But Carlton Davis, the way he
Baited
plays,
dart on that one throw to Wandale Monday night.
Yeah,
like,
should have had
exactly.
him. Should have had him.
It's just, I completely agree. I don't think the slack is deserved at all, because it's just because he's not this one player that you all are used to seeing, maybe. But how about the fact that Christian Gonzalez is playing against a corner that like a deep corner like that, where we're allowing Marcus Jones now to be the corner that he should have been, instead of a deep, he's in the slot, and look at what happens. Like,
He is
Marcus
going to
Jones
be an all-pro. He is going to be an all-pro.
If he's not an all-pro, like, we're rioting. Like, that would be crazy. The way he's playing this year, like, you finally have a coach who knows how to use Marcus Jones the right way, because he's not a tall corner. He's not going to be able to go up, up against these really big receivers on the deep ball. But look what happens when his eyes are on Dart throwing the ball, or not Dart,
Flacco.
Flacco throwing the ball. Like, you just do it. And no, I'm with you. Carlton Davis has his own way of playing, but he's doing a very good job with that role besides Christian Gonzalez. And the hate is not deserved.
And he had another great game on Sunday. I mean, on Monday. Sorry, he had another great game on Monday. I noted when Christian Gonzalez did it, where he had baited Jackson Dart into throwing the out route, and I was like, yeah, that really wasn't open. Davis did it earlier in the game on the other side when he was covering Theo Johnson, and that was the play where he had the pick in his hand. And he dropped it. It's a dropped interception. I noticed in that he had 2 of his fingers wrapped on his left hand. His pinky and his ring finger were taped together. And you saw, if you look at it on the replay, he tries to squeeze it like this, where he's like, can't move this. So he just has like a little flipper. He's trying to keep over here. He's trying to squeeze it, and it falls out. But it was a great play all the same. It was like, all right, it's an out route. It is absolutely not going to be open. The cover, the corner is, underneath it. You can't throw that. He makes, lags behind. He's a little behind. You think, all right, maybe he can get the ball over there, and he should have had the interception. So it's a fantastic duo. Like, that's just what it is. I think no matter what, though, what Sophie said at the start was accurate. Where the biggest issue is that he is playing opposite Christian Gonzalez, so he is going to see more targets than anyone. Like, they have to throw the ball somewhere, right? Like, and if Christian Gonzalez is doing what he's doing, you're like, all right, so we're going to go to the other side and we're going to target Carlton Davis. But I don't really understand it either. It's mostly down to the penalties. And people are just like, oh, he's a walking penalty. He has, like, I think 7 at this point. At this point, I'm just used to it. Like, yeah, he's good for at least 1 a game. It is what it is. But he's not allowing yardage, right? That's just like
29 yards a game, I think, is his average.
I think it's up to 30. But yeah, it's like
I think that's penalties. I think that's one penalty left.
That's just not a thing that's happening. So it's like, he's a good player. People just have weird expectations for the player playing next to the guy.
Yeah, it's just like, that's the thing. It's a great compliment. It's a great complimentary piece to Gonzalez, but just when you tie it all together, it's just like a wonderful microcosm now, to where a lot of people within other NFL circles are realizing, oh crap, this team still has a lot of money to spend. Sure, they're gonna have to pay some guys next year. Like, I know Demario Douglas, Keyshawn Boutte, Christian Gonzalez, all are going to want contract extensions. Obviously, for 2 of those, it's probably not going to be astronomical money. But for Gonzo, it's going to be probably up there with what Derek Stingley got, what PS2 is getting, and all that stuff. But the one thing that really ties this together, and I think a lot of people aren't ready to accept yet, is that this team, unlike the last, I don't like what the Brady years were. These guys are they're having fun. They're likable. The coach is very personable. And a lot of people love the First Lady of New England too. So when you really tie, I had to mention that, because her social media stuff is just very, it's obscure, and the comments are just
hilarious.
It's the most
wholesome thing in the whole wide world.
Yeah.
It's the most wholesome thing, and I love it.
Yeah. Someone also made a highlight video of the Patriots. But it starts with her, where it's like, I think Drake's embarrassing her, and she's kind of like smiling at Drake and stuff like that like as he's off camera. But it's to a song. It's to a Paramore song, so I'm going to send it to McGarvin afterwards, because I know it's one of his favorite artists. Excuse me. But it's just all that tied together. Even for some reason, I'm seeing like wives and girlfriends posting on. That's kind of got into my algorithm. Like, it's just so wholesome. But then you get this like negative connotation from fans. Like, I mean, it's mainly, I think, for some reason, Bills fans and Dolphins fans, where they're like, "Oh, can't wait for the downfall of the team," where most Patriot fans are just looking at that and going, "This team's playing with house money. This team can do no wrong. Hell, they get to the wild card round, God forbid, or divisional round, they don't get to the AFC Championship game or divisional round. You don't be mad in the moment. Hopefully, I don't have the same emotional crash out that baseball made me had a month ago. I pray to God it doesn't get to that, but no, we're not like." Trust me, that's why I like the Atlanta game. I was like really like on pins and needles because I was like, I need this win mentally. I mentally needed that win. But at the end of the day, this team is kind of not like, I don't want to say just getting started, but like, I even think it's different than what the Commanders did last year because of how bad it was before. I feel like the Commanders was kind of like caught lightning in a bottle and took it far. But to where
I think they also bet on it only being one, like they only really gave the effort in 1 year in a way, like in that off-season effort, like all that. I think they were like, this is our, let's spend it all now. And Vrabel, you talked to him about success, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
Words that came out before I could stop them. My brain didn't think fast enough to stop myself from talking. Basically, it was like, the Mike Vrabel, if you ask him about like this year of success, he's like, we're in year 1 of a rebuild.
Yeah.
Like they're 11-2, and this man is like, it's a rebuild. We're in a rebuild year. And I think that's so important because he's the first to say, like, we're not complacent. We're not. I mean, look at his message to the team during the bye week. We're again 11-2. Don't be satisfied with this.
But why did he shave the mustache?
It was November. He did not like that. He's so ready to get rid of that.
Okay, I know that, but I just saw that. I'm like, man, keep a good thing going, pal.
I know. What if that's like a superstition, like what if that becomes, oh God, I'll never live that one down.
Whose mic was that?
No, that was me.
Train.
Yeah, okay. I do live in Boston.
I know. It's just whenever I hear a train horn, I think of that stupid train horn the Bills play during their game. So just like mental memory log because of what's going on next week. One other thing I want to talk about just with Patriots, because it kind of got into the news today, and I don't think a whole ton of people noticed it. Are we ready for the petty war when both Kraft and Belichick have to go in the same class this coming year in Canton? Because we know Bill's going in. We know for a fact they're not going to pass on Bill, but do we think they're going to get Kraft in just to have that, like...
It'd be great television.
I said that to my dad. I was on the phone with my dad, like literally right before this, and I was like, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it for the bid at this point. Like, yes. Both deserve it too. That's the thing. Both, like, I'm long on the thing. Kraft deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And this whole thing with how long it's taking is a little ridiculous. Like, this is his year. This should be his year. Put this man in the Hall of Fame. But that being said, like have they just been waiting for this? Is this why for 14, like, or was it 14 times that he's been trying to get in and it hasn't worked? However long it's been.
Sent them the book, did the documentary that we covered extensively on here when you were first coming on the show, which is weird to think. I've known, because also, Sophie, I said this too, just overall with the show, that in the almost 4 years that McGarvin and I have been chatting on the show, and almost 2 years that you've been coming on here, whether it's the three of us, whether it's the two of us, whoever, this is the first time ever that we're actually a good, competent football team. Like, this is different than 2021. This is different than 2022. But going back to that point, I just bring it up where I'm like, they're going to, the Hall of Fame committee is probably just going to see that and just do it because of the spectacle. But imagine too, it's like finally the year that like Rodney Harrison gets in. Maybe it's the year that other, like, I don't know about, like, maybe Adam Vinatieri will see, because like I know already when we always play the lock game back in like July. Well, like Drew Brees is going to get in. You probably figure Larry Fitzgerald's going to get in. But with the builders class, there's going to be the Kraft Belichick moment. And it's like, because like I said, we know Bell's not getting passed up. We know for a fact. But it's just that if you do all this, plus you have the Patriots play in the Hall of Fame game, which is usually the game I go, hey, I watch quarter of it and I don't care. If the Patriots are playing it, I'll watch all 60 minutes. I'll watch 60 minutes of Tommy DeVito.
I actually watch almost the entire game for every game I watch in the preseason, because I only really watch Patriots games in the preseason, because I'm not going to sit through like Jacksonville's backups. Why would I do that, right? Like, but I'll sit through the Patriots backups. Like, I care about them and the Hall of Fame game, because it's the first game in like a month where I'm like, all right, I just haven't had any football. Like, let's get to it. And it's the Hall of Fame game, and I'm like, all right.
I'm a little different with that, just because obviously, like, we have our football up here that's going as well. But when we tie it all back together, and like one point I really want to make about just the schedule and stuff like that is the simple fact of like when everyone's like, oh, but we're still 11-2 team, or oh, when's the trap game coming? Even if they lose next Sunday, which I would love it. There's a fantasy world where I think the Bengals win, or the Bengals hopefully win Sunday, and then we win next Sunday, and it's the hat and t-shirt game. But basically, there's nothing wrong this team can do. Like there's no wrong that they've like if we all look at it, hey, the Raiders game sucked, but it was week 1. I would honestly rather have the Steelers game back at this point than the Raiders game. So, like week 1's week 1, but the Steelers game now, like Garvin said to me best in a text, they reek. Like the Steelers are just say this the more I hear about them. I would rather have the way that our Bill Belichick stuff ended, where it was just, hey, yeah, cut and dry, instead of we're still going for it and we're completely mediocre and like allowing the most yardage run on you than since OJ Simpson 50 years ago. Look it up, fun fact. But no, there's there's no wrong they can do. That's why I bring up everything. And fun fact with me is I will be in Fort Lauderdale on Championship Sunday, so I'm looking to be around a bar with a bunch of Dolphins fans, hopefully watching the Patriots punch their ticket to Santa Clara, which again feels great in a year of just complete parity. Like the Patriots are good, the Bears are good. Hell, Team McGarvin and I kind of got sweet on because of one super fan. The Carolina Panthers are out here being unpredictable. They got the belt from us, and they've lost 6. They've lost 3 games since that. So this is really honestly probably one of the best NFL seasons that we've had in a very long time, where it's anyone's championship this year.
I'm with you. That's the best kind of season.
Yeah, I hear you. Even the bad teams are kind of fun. They're like interesting. Like I'm invested in not Vegas, and I think they're like legitimately bad. I'm invested in what the Cardinals are doing. Like they reek, but like let me see, like show me, because Jacoby's playing. I'm like, all right, like they finally have like confident quarterbacking. No shade on Kyler. I think he's incredibly talented, but like
he needs a new start.
Jacoby just runs the offense better. He runs it on time. So I've been really interested to see what they're going on, what they got going on. Michael Wilson's excellent. I'm really interested in the Vikings. I'm into them because of the whole
Max Brosmer
nonsense. Goodness gracious. And then
you're a Max Brosmer fan?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That guy can't play. But
that's his next jersey after Matt Collins. That's the jersey.
That guy cannot play. But he cannot play the sport. So
Cleveland with Myles Garrett going for the all-time sack record on a terrible team.
They have Shedeur Sanders as well. I'm like interested in that storyline because Dylan Gabriel can't play. So I need to see more Shedeur to really understand what they were doing with Dylan Gabriel. Like, what were they going for? Because that guy can't play, and Shedeur also can't play, but like he can at least get the ball down the field. Like that's cool. Like moving the football is cool. So I'm interested in the bad teams as well.
Like even the Jets aren't like the like yeah, they're 3-9, but they're not like terrible. Like I mean, like I know I said what I said about Vegas because I actually do think they're legitimately like Vegas is legitimately just bad. But like even. I mean, Atlanta's a good team, but they're not getting used properly. Who's another bad team out there? Like even Tennessee, like, hey, the rest of the team's terrible, but like you got a franchise quarterback.
Cam Ward can play, yeah. And I think at this point, you fired your coach. The entire rest of the year is just about like, if Cam Ward is good, that is great. Everyone else is going to get fired anyway. So like, let's just let's see what we've got. Although they have a player I really like, wide receiver number 17, Chimere DK.
Yes,
very, very. He's someone who in like 2 years will be very good. Right now, I think he's very exciting. He's raw. Like you see it, you're like, all right, like if you can just start running these routes better, like more consistently, like we're good. Because like when he gets open. You're like, oh shit! Like, excuse me, sir. He's a good player. He's someone who will be great in a few years.
Even who's the other team I'm trying to think of that a similar thing? Even like the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, look, there's resurgence through tragedy, but like fact too that like, hey, they're ripping off wins. Who knew adding Quinnen Williams would just really make that defense just catapult? Which actually ties me back to a Patriots take I wanted to do before Sophie had to get out of here. So, everyone's talking about like, oh, the Patriots should go get A.J. Brown. Oh, the Patriots could go get, I know there's those weird reports about Justin Jefferson, but I don't really buy much into it. I don't think Minnesota's that dumb. If the Dallas Cowboys really want to give George Pickens a whole ton of money, and the Dallas Cowboys are willing to move off certain players, we know this. why not call and ask about 88 if you're the Patriots? I'm just saying, why not call and say, hey, if you want to give Pickens like $30 million a year, because I think he's kind of earned it, and Jerry Jones has been talking about him. And like we saw what Jerry Jones did, like Amari Cooper. They gave him a huge contract, and they basically told him to shoo. I'm not saying they would do it, but I feel like, or Jerry would do it, but then again, who the hell knows with Jerry Jones? But at the same time, too, if you're the Patriots really looking for that true long-term wide receiver option, because Diggs is awesome, Diggs has been great, but if you can get another great player to go along with him, why not call and ask about a CD Lamb? Because at the end of the day, we got to tie everything back to the Patriots, especially when the three of us are here.
It's hard because I think that the young receivers, though, are stepping up for the Patriots and are showing a lot of promise. I hear what you're saying, though, because you have some veterans who, like Diggs, he's not. He's playing like
I'm thinking like 3 to 5 years down the window, long term.
Exactly.
By the way,
long term, I think that it could be worth a call for sure. I just think with the current state of the receiver room, with what's going on, it's hard to think that way right now.
Yeah.
I think unless there was like a major injury, bringing anyone in isn't even kind of worth it right now. With the way they're meshing with Drake, the way that they're playing, I just think that receiver room is doing what's asked of them, and it's doing it better than expected. So I think you talk about what receivers they need to go out and get when, like we were doing that last year.
Yeah.
This is not the year.
Brandon Ayuk regrets that now.
Oh, what about Godwin?
That I'm not gonna do too much on. The only other player I'll say right now,
They're going to give him $30 million a year, and I'm so happy that they did not.
Yeah, but have you considered this? Moving sucks.
That is true, and the taxes in Boston, no one wants those. I don't blame them.
Hey, do you want to go from tax-free Florida to Massachusetts?
I think when a player opts to just stay with their own team, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe he passed up X amount of money elsewhere." I'm like, "Yeah, but moving sucks. There's just so much involved. It's moving sucks. So if I could just stay here, cool. We're good. I'll take $5 million less to not move. Moving sucks.
Moving sucks, but the Patriots don't. Is the main message of the show.
That was more. Yeah, I was more going for the not. The fact that I think part of the turning down. Yes, it was wanting to stay with, but. I mean, look at the Milton Williams signing. I mean, you knew he was going to get a bag no matter where he went. And I still love the signing, but that was a situation where you felt like you had to overpay for these talented players. And overpay may not be the right word here, but I mean, you had to compete with the Panthers, who were willing to pay him however much. You had to come back with over 100. And that now, with the way that they're playing and with the trajectory they have going, they're in a situation where players will hopefully want to come to New England now. It's not a place that's dreaded. And that to me is so important once free agency begins, once I don't want the season to end. I would love for it to go on forever with the way it's going. But, once that inevitable off season hits, this is now a destination. You have a coach who, I mean, the way these players talk about him, it's unlike the Bill era. This is a coach who they are just love and respect and also fear a little bit. Whereas Bill was all fear. I think this is a guy that is a good mix of both. And you have a franchise quarterback that
he's a boss you can go have a beer with.
Yes, that's a good one. But you have a franchise quarterback who is an MVP favorite right now in his second year in the league. Imagine what he can do with another 2-3 years with Josh McDaniels, because I don't see Josh leaving anytime soon. I think he'll be around for a while. And, this team is just clicking in so many ways right now. And unlike in past years where you couldn't get these free agents to even come or consider New England because they wanted a chance to compete for a title, it's a destination again. This is a place that people are going to be like, we have a chance.
I'm not saying warm up the duck boats, but kind of get them out of there. Maybe have them on standby for right now. That's why I was saying that too.
The Bills game first, and then I'll maybe welcome that idea. But I think I got to go past Bills.
I will. That's why I say on standby. And the other thing too that I don't think a lot of people realize right now as well. Don't the Patriots have an awesome training center opening next year?
Mm-hmm.
Those report cards matter.
It's being built right now.
So, hey, you have an awesome – here's the thing. You have I always think of that McGarvin clip when he first came on after Drake May's debut, where he's just like, "Our quarterback is awesome." So that's what it is. We have an awesome quarterback. We have a great head coach. The only real question I think for this team really is, whenever he does get healthy, does Williams come back and be the DC, or do we let Zach continue doing it? Like that's just I think a big question, obviously, for when that time comes, whenever he's healthy again.
I could see Williams staying on it as an advisor.
But I'll say this though. Jeremy Springer still is the best hire in the last 2 years, and that's not Mike Vrabel.
How many times did I say when we were wondering what was going to happen with this new staff? How many times on this pod did I say keep Jeremy Springer?
Mm-hmm.
One other player I just want to give my flowers to before you have to go is Andy. I know he had the bad kick on Monday, but I'm sorry, he won me after that Bills game winner. He won me. After that, I was like, okay, yep, Andy's the guy.
He's stepped up when they needed him to. He's having there's still rookie issues in some things, but when he hasn't truly like lost them a big game. And I think that that's what is important to think about is like the kicks he's missing.
He's not Young Wei Koo.
Yeah, he's not missing the ball completely and pulling a Charlie Brown. So, no, I definitely think that, and I think what's so important to that one is that Mike Vrabel has full confidence in that kicker. I mean, how many people were done with him when he missed early on, when he missed in that game that they barely win, and Mike Vrabel's giving him a game ball. And we're all like, it was the smartest thing I think that coach could have ever done. Because he was like, you're our kicker. I don't give a crap what anyone else is saying. Like, that's our kicker. You did what you needed to tonight when it mattered most. And since then, I mean, every kicker is going to have a miss or two. Like,
Parker Romo.
Best kick. Well, okay. You're seeing some of the best have misses too. It happens. But when it matters most, if you're making those kicks, that's what's going to be remembered.
I think he's fine. He's a kicker. He's the kicker. Like, he's the guy. He's a player that, like, when he goes out there, you're like more confident than not that he's going to make it. Like, you're not like, You're just looking at it like, all right. So that's going to be 3 points. All right. So then we're going to go up 10. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he like, I feel like what's there to talk about? He's the kicker. Like, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He got a big leg. Like, he's consistent. Like, yeah, I got no problem with the kicker.
One more question for you, Soph, before obviously you're probably going to wrap up soon. With it being the bye week, is there a game you really have your eyes on, like that you're excited to sit down and watch as the ticker's been going for this entire portion of the show so far?
Give me a hot second. I'm going to be so for real with the bye week. I haven't even looked at the schedule for this week. I took a little mental break from football. Seconds to look. McGarvin, if you have one, you can go before me.
Yeah, I think that Houston Kansas City game is going to be like the one to watch. Like, I'm excited about that game. Bummed to hear that the Chiefs are having some O-line troubles. Their first round pick Josh Simmons just went on IR with, I think he's like broke the right side of his body or something. They were like, oh yeah, his shoulder and his wrist, he was in a sling, he had a cast. I was like, oh, holy shit, like he got fucked up. But no, he's going to be out for probably the rest of the regular season, and then we'll see it on the other side. And it's just a bad time to not have your tackles going up against that Texans defensive front.
Will Anderson's so nice.
Yeah. I think they're in so much trouble. I honestly think that the Chiefs are doomed. Their offense is exactly what I said it was going to be, with or without Rashee Rice, where everyone's like, oh, he's going to come back and everything's going to be fixed. And I'm like, no, because like their entire offense is built on pure talent. And that's a weird thing to say, but I'm like, I don't think any of their receivers are like good at being receivers. Like Rashee Rice is like, he's fine, but like, they don't win downfield. They're not like running good routes. You're like, yeah, he got him real open. It's just like, we hit him on a jet sweep and he took it 88 yards. Or, he was running a shallow cross and he took it for 40. Like, these are the kind of players they have. Or my personal favorite, we scrambled and then he was just running across the field for 10 minutes and then he was wide open for 48. And you're like, holy shit. But, that's how their entire offense operates. So when the defense isn't making errors, they suck, right? Like they're just like not very good. And again, it's weird as a Patriot fan. I wouldn't have imagined this a year and a half ago, but like to think like I would rather our receivers than their receivers because their guys just like aren't that good. Like they're all fast as shit. Granted, fast as shit. They can take it the distance every time. I hear you. But like when you ask them to just like win, like, hey, it's, 3rd and 16, just go out there and win a route, like that's just not gonna happen. That's I don't know.
Call me crazy, but I am excited for that game. I also do think that this is it for the Chiefs. I think if you fall to 6 and 7, which no, I'm not a brain rot child. I'm not going to go make jokes. But if they do lose this game, like it's really who else? What else can you do? You've lost to the Bills. You've lost to the Texans. You've lost to that Jacksonville game is going to haunt them more than any game. I know that we always look at October and say, hey, is what it is. No, that game's going to haunt them. So this game for them screams must win. But the way that the point spread's been leaning, I'm like, this might be the game that CJ Stroud kind of, because he's had some good games, and obviously he's been hurt a bit of the year, which who would have saw Davis Mills being Davis Mills? But there's just so much, like I said, Will Anderson's like, he seems like the next like great defensive end in this league where it's just, he's going to get after the quarterback, and you look, and you're like, oh, crap. But my game I'm most looking forward to was honestly before that, and that is Green Bay playing Chicago.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Here's my reason for it.
But I just love that was mine.
Okay. Hey, Sophie, we're tag teaming this. My reason why I'm so excited for that game is because Bears fans have been saying all week, and I respect them for this, we aren't going to be thinking anything big until we beat Green Bay. Because what has it been most of the time? It's been them going up to Lambeau Field and getting flat out embarrassed and taking the belt from them. It's been for years, Green Bay, Chicago, it's just been a one-sided rivalry. This is really their chance to kind of go into enemy territory and kind of have, for Caleb too, to have, which I still say this too, that team's clicking at the right time. Just overall, Manon guy. Cole Kmet's been pretty good for them. Colson Loveland. Like they're just getting contributions all over. But they're textbook proof of what you want to do with your offensive line, where they weren't afraid to go out and spend the money. And even last week, too, Darnell Wright just completely bullying Jalen Carter in that game. But no, this is a huge show-me-something game for the Chicago Bears, where if they win this game, like I'm already on them. I'm like, hey, I think they're going to be a good team. This is a game where I'm like, hey, this takes you from not pretender, but this takes you from like playoff team to, hey, they could be at Santa Clara come February.
Yeah, I completely agree. For me, it's that they're the top of the NFC right now. My prediction going in was I actually thought I had Green Bay at the top of my list as like before the season when I was going over my like predictions in my head, I guess. When I was having a full-on conversation with myself, just like a crazy human being in my head.
That's why I started this show, because I was doing that all the time, by the way.
Yeah. I call it, I have a running joke with my aunt. We call it, we're having a staff meeting when we're just talking to ourselves. But no, it's Green Bay was the team I had to like look out for this season. I really thought that they were just a good team. And I think that they've had their issues here and there, but I still think that they're a very good team. And again, as you said, the Bears are clicking at the right time. They're showing a lot of promise. And I just think that
they're getting healthy too.
Yeah, that's two teams that it's going to be a good indication for January, in my opinion. That could be that's a matchup that's two playoff caliber teams that will be going up against it in the regular season, but that you could place this game in January and it would be.
Yeah. They're probably going to play 3 times this year. No, I agree. Man, the Bears, I just don't buy yet because it's a lot of like working.
That's why I want them to show me something Sunday.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, you're like working around, Caleb Williams. You're making it happen on the ground. Like it looks great, but like, let me see how it looks against the team that's going, that's going to give you a little something extra. And I think Green Bay, I think, man, they miss Tucker Kraft a lot, but that offense is so good. Right, I love their receiving room. I mean, goodness gracious, that is a team I look at there. I'm like, wow, like what a great collection of guys. That offense against that defense, I mean, that secondary, the Bears secondary is loaded as well, right? And like you said, they're getting healthy. So you're like, okay, like, all right, Kyler Gordon kind of getting back into the mix.
Jalen
Jalen
Johnson.
Johnson came up off of IR. We're like, okay, hold on. Like, this could be like the game to watch.
So I'm going to be a nice guy, and I'm going to give Sophie that game because that's the kind of person that I am. But there's one other game, though, that kind of involves her that I'm actually excited for because I'm a sicko, which is tomorrow night. I'm excited for just because I do believe that is a true loser leaves town kind of game. Whoever loses that game, Dallas, Detroit, probably won't be making the playoffs, especially if it's Detroit, even though I do think Detroit's going to win and cover. But that Steelers-Ravens game Sunday afternoon, just because, and I say ties to it because sometimes whenever I see the Ravens being bad, I'm always kind of like, hey, what's Sam up to right now with all that? But,
Thanksgiving night was rough. Yeah, no, Thanksgiving night was so fun, guys. We had a great time.
Dang.
Were you just like, we're at my grandma's house. Please be nice. Please be respectful because I had that.
Was so good.
He's emotionally burning inside. Okay, because I actually have a Patriot story about that because 2013 Thanksgiving is obviously Canadian Thanksgiving. I had that because it was my dad's, like my grandparents, my dad and I for Thanksgiving, which there he is. Yeah, I know it was bad. I had Baltimore to cover that night. Not I had Baltimore. I had Cincinnati to cover the spread.
We're the best, worst 6-6 team that's still in the playoffs.
Yeah, but you're also playing a very bad 6-6 team on Sunday.
Yes. Should be a win. Should be a win.
Well, we said that.
As long as we don't turn over the ball 5 times and fumble in the end zone, then we should be okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Fluky game. That game is that fluky game.
Are you
concerned with the defense? This is a PSA to not date a Ravens fan. This is my PSA, actually. Don't date a Ravens fan. You have to deal with it. Yeah. He has Ohio State right now though, so he's happy.
Oh,
he needs one of his teams to be, he needs one of his teams to be winning, and then we're okay.
Let me see if he can hear this. They're going to take care of business Saturday night, in my opinion.
I'm not worried. I'm going to a hockey during it. That's how not worried I am.
Bruins, Boston College, UMass, BU. He's got his pick of the litter.
UMass at Eastern. Undergrad versus current job.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah, it's the one thing I'm like. That's the one like whenever I come back to Boston, like I would love to come later in the year so I could go to either probably college hockey because as you guys know I can't stand the Bruins, but with play I just rather do it in October so I can still go to Gillette when it's like nice weather. I know Boston in the fall is a very nice city, but no, with that Steeler Raven game, like the Steelers just it's ending, and like when your fans are like when the fans are asking for the coach to be fired who's been there forever. When you're doing weird moves you've never done before, like the DK Metcalf stuff, like signing him without playing, like giving him an extension without him playing, waiting for Aaron Rodgers. When I saw Ravens fans online basically waving their jerseys around, playing Renegade as a troll to them. But no, I'm just excited for that game because that's another true one where I think it's either the Ravens resurging or it's the Steelers giving up on either side. Like I do think the Ravens do get back and get right in this one. But there's a lot of games Sunday where even like, I don't know, for the sake of drafting, Cleveland, Tennessee and the Tank Bowl is going to be a good one. So like for the three of us Sunday, like I imagine Sophie will have Ravens Steelers on. Red Zone's the place to be. That just
I don't know. We'll see. I might leave depending on how that game goes. Maybe I'll start watching in there, but if it starts going, then I'm going to Red Zone in the other room real quick.
Yeah, I don't really like Red Zone. That's still my thing. Like I keep trying it. It just keeps not being
That's
for
a hot
me.
take.
Yeah, what? No, it's not. Like what? I like to get into like the story of a game, right? Like the game's individual storyline. Like you're watching, you're like, all right, here's what's happening, here's how they're countering, and you're like going through the narrative of the story. I feel like with Red Zone, it is so hard to be invested in any of the games. You might as well just be a ticker.
I'm just nosy though. I want to know like everything that's going on, like every big play, and that's why I like Red Zone is because like they give you everything that happens. But I am gonna leave it there with unless you want Sam to fill in for me for the rest of the show. I do have to hop off. I'm so sorry.
You gave us more time than I thought you would, and that's honestly probably a really good note to end it on. Only other thing, this is more McGarvin centric question because there's like I said, a personality. Sophie, it was a blast. Thank you very much for being on here. We'll have to have you back on sometime soon. But McGarvin, quick question for you. Yes. What would you do if you had $150,000?
I would fly a plane, but I don't even know how to fly a plane.
It's honestly he's even doing he's doing paid content. He did
good for him.
He did one with Bojangles, but then when he did the dab on the Rams thing, it just I'm saying this. They're still my sweetheart team right now, where I'm like,
yeah, they're fun.
Derek Brown's also a hell of a football player.
Oh, he's fantastic. I mean, goodness gracious, that guy is insane.
He's insane. J.C. Horn, Michael Jackson.
They have a good team. I can't believe they had lost 6 games already. You know what I mean? Like, they're a team where you're like, so what was going on? Like, why? How'd that happen? You know what I mean? Like, because some of the games they lost, you're like, you lost to the Saints. You scored like 9 points. Like, what the fuck was going on? Like, that's not. You're better than that. Like, hello?
You took the belt from us and the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and it's like, those are fine L's to take. Like, all right, like, you can't lose to the Saints though. Come on, they reek.
They really do, but but no, the Panthers though. Like, I've been saying this. I still think if they find a way to sneak into the playoffs, Dave Canales is going to win Coach of the Year. But they finally kind of found the secret formula where it's like, hey, if we get our owner to shut up, if we get which also Ted McMillan's an awesome wide receiver.
That guy is incredible, man.
Yeah. But even Bryce is playing with a confidence that I feel like people have been waiting for.
When he is on, you see it. You're like, okay, like he is locked in, and we're just gonna win this game because like that's what he does. He's just not on as often as he needs to be.
I think they're going to be the team that like barely misses out on the playoffs, but like next year, you know, like do you remember? I always remember this the first Bills Chiefs AFC Championship game where Tony was like, you know, hey, the Patriots and all this stuff. The Panthers are going to be that team going into next season where everyone's going to be like, hey, they're the team you got to kind of keep your eye out on now, like because teams fall, you know, some teams fall into like obscurity after a while, kind of like where the Jets have been, the Cleveland Browns are, Tennessee's going down that path. Carolina's kind of coming out of that where it's kind of like, hey, we got a competent football team that we can get behind.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm invested. I like that team.
No. I wouldn't talk about any other games because I look at all the rest of them, like Las Vegas, Denver, Rams, Cardinals.
Yep.
But then Monday night's probably intriguing too, just for the sole purpose of if you're a Monsters Inc. fan like myself. Favorite Pixar movie, by the way. Justin Herbert's wrist, Kevin Petullo's house getting egged, which is that's Philadelphia in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's a shame. I mean, that is a shame. That is a shame. He is not doing a good job over there, but don't egg his house. That's rude.
It's kind of one of those things where when I was texting you about it, like where it's like, is Sirianni is he a coordinator merchant, or is it just he has to get the right guys to do the job? Because like their defense isn't bad. It's just when their offense is off, it's yuck.
Yeah, I think he's good enough though, because like he's gone through a bunch, and they've mostly been like pretty good. You're like, when they had Brian Johnson, they had Brian Johnson coordinating their offense a few years ago, and I was like, offense looks pretty good. Like, you know, like the year, that was the year they went to the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl.
No, so that was Steichen. That was Steichen.
No, it was the next year. It was the year after that when they didn't win the Super Bowl. They didn't go to the Super Bowl that year. It was last year. They had Brian Johnson. It was the year they had Brian Johnson and Ben Johnson coordinating the offense. Here, I'll sorry.
I'm going to look that up because they had Sean Desai coordinating the defense. I remember that. Let's see. It all was like stupid page. Come on, load.
He was with the 2023. That was the year that they went to the Super Bowl.
Okay, I just got weirded. Oh, I was talking about the 2023 season. They had Steichen. Brian Johnson was the offensive coordinator. I just got confused because I saw I see Nick Sirianni and Kevin Petullo. Kevin Petullo's been with the team for a while. They also had Sean Desai, and then they had, who I wish I had told Sam about this at the time, but they had Matt Patricia on that staff as well, who seems to have revolved his career around being back to college.
Yeah. I mean, I think he should stay down there. But I've always thought he's like been a better defensive coordinator than anyone wants to give him credit for. Like, he's been on balance fine. When he has good players, he's good. When his players aren't as good, he's not. That's fine. Kind of league average. It is what it is. I think he, in college though, I mean, he is he is teaching those young boys on offense a whole new world. He's like, they don't know what to do. They're like, oh shit, I have never seen this before. So yeah, I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for the game for him to be bringing NFL concepts to a college defense. You have the college athletes is doing, and it's forcing the college offenses to kind of level up and like, all right, hey, he's gonna do some weird shit. Let's figure out how they stop this in the pros and go from there. So I think it's good for the game.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just one of those things where it's getting them ready for the next level too, where it's like, hey, this, and I keep forgetting with that team too, that Brian Hartline, Miami Dolphins legend, probably going to be a head coach soon because good God knows what the hell Penn State's doing. But every day I hear a new, like every other team's hired a coach. Yep. Obviously there was the weird Ole Miss LSU drama, and then it's just Penn State being like, hey, we were the first one here, but we're still the last one. We're the last ones to the dance.
Maybe they're targeting someone someone that they have to keep a real hot. I mean, that has to be the plan because what are they doing?
Yeah, because it's like if you're not doing that, it's kind of like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Only other thing I want to ask you before we get out of here because obviously we're talking about the games, but tomorrow night though, I know I was saying Lose Leaves Town, but is it just me or does it scream this is a Detroit get right game because of how they've had some bad ones and that this is kind of the spot coming off a bad Thanksgiving game, or is it just the Dallas is different to where when they lose in the playoffs, it's going to be a little sweeter? Not sweeter, but you know what I mean. How everyone likes to clown the Cowboys when they lose.
Yeah. I don't know. I am unsure on how this game goes. I think Detroit could get right, but I think Detroit's defense is in trouble. That Dallas passing offense is no joke. It is no joke. So I think they're going to have their hands full. Kirby Joseph is in and out of the lineup. That guy's a phenomenal player as well. Their safety back there, he's excellent. Brian Branch has been playing, but he's a little banged up.
Terrion Arnold's out.
Terrion Arnold is out for the year. So it's like, I think they're in trouble. I think that defense is in trouble. So it could be a great game to watch. I think it could be like an explosive game. I just think that Dallas might have enough on defense to kind of outlast the Lions.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the Detroit metaphor just because it's like Dan Campbell's the kind of coach where when he's on, like he looks good, but when he has a few reckless plays is where everyone goes, what are you doing, Dan? Yep. I'm going with that. The other thing I'll say too is Amik Robinson last Thursday. Good Lord, he was getting
cooked, which is a shame because he's like generally a pretty okay corner. Like he's like, oh, it's fine. Like Amik Robertson, like he was good with the Raiders. He's good here. Like he's a good player. He was getting absolutely cooked.
Yeah, I think if there were to be two players to look out for tomorrow night, I think Jahmyr Gibbs has a good game because I think everyone's thinking he was going to have a good game against Green Bay, but then David Montgomery and Jameson Williams had a really good game, so I think this is a Jahmyr Gibbs game. And on the other side of the ball, I think I think Jahmyr Gibbs and CeeDee Lamb are two players that are probably going to have good games tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I'm interested in seeing what they do with Jahmyr Gibbs because, like, as much as they like to go outside with him, I think every so often they throw in a nice inside run for to get an explosive because you don't expect it. But Quinnen Williams is in there. Like, he's not going to let that happen. I think if it could end up being a game where you just use Jahmyr Gibbs as a pass catcher and kind of go from there. Because I don't know that they'll be able to just run on Dallas the way they like to run the football.
Yeah, I do. I do agree. I do agree with that. And then what's the only thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, but then to bring things back to a Patriots halt. So Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery are known as Sonic and Knuckles. Have you seen the video of Christian Ellis hitting dart with the Sonic coins?
Yeah, I have. I have. Gosh, what? I mean, goodness, Lord help us. Do not get me started on that stupid hit.
It's the thing I hate with that hit is all the New York radio people going like, "Oh, it was someone from Barstool being like, oh, if that was Drake May, you guys would be doing the same thing." And it's like, there's a lot of us at times where we're like, "Hey, Drake, get down," or "Hey, Drake, do this."
Gotta get down.
Look at the concussion he suffered against the Jets last year.
Look, man, if you are toting that tater, you are a target, and that's just what it's going to be. So you're running down the sideline. He had 3 yards between him and the first down marker, and Christian Ellis was right there. And he played with his life. He's like, I could beat him there, and he couldn't. So hey, it happens. It happens. He took the hit like a champ. His fan bases, I mean, they're doing so much. There's so much crying. I don't get it. I think it's just crazy how like every week, I spend my Sundays just like reading tweets about how everyone's like, oh, this league is so soft. Oh, this is this is crazy. Oh, just put flags on them every week. Every week I'm reading that. And then someone's quarterback gets hit and they're like, oh, what? Where's the flag? Call in the National Guard. Like, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, is the game physical or not? Right? Like, if a clean hit, if you can concede that, hey, the quarterback is here, it is a clean hit. He is inbound. It was shoulder to shoulder. He was inbound. He just absolutely got wrecked. If you're telling me that they need to be flagging hits like that, I don't want to hear you when you're like, oh, this game is so soft. You're the reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even, and then I look at places like the Gunnar Olszewski one. Yeah, it was terrible. Good Lord, it took paint off the helmet. But at the same time, too, it's just those are the risks with football that you got to take, which I found it weird that like that one was, but then like even the Jalen Hawkins one, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's just, it's not there.
Yep.
And then the only other point I'll make about that game was, so, we're talking about the Queen of New England earlier and Michael May. So she did her she's been doing like these baking videos, and she basically was doing sourdough yesterday. And she basically was posting, and Drake appeared in the video, and it was like 12:30 at night they were doing this. And there was people literally commenting me like, I was still at the parking lot at Gillette Stadium at 12:30 trying to get out of there.
I did see the aerial view of all the traffic. It is tough getting out of there. Usually on the night games it's a little better, but like in the daytime, like this is atrocious, bro.
Because like I've stayed, the one time I was there, I stayed downtown, and then because, well, if I do go there, that's probably where I'd stay again. I like would just take an Uber in from the city, and then there's trains that do run to, I think, South Station it was called, that like run there. So I just did that, where it like does a couple things. My wife actually has a photo of me like kind of sleeping, and she's like, "You're the kid at Disney who had a great day and was exhausted at the end of it." It's like, you're damn right I did. I'm so excited to kick my feet up for week 13 and watch football. We got great game tomorrow night. Great slate of college championships on Saturday, which, do you think Bama takes it? Do you think Georgia? Like
the SEC championship game, I'm biased, so I can't call it.
That's why I ask, but
yeah.
I can see Alabama taking it just because I feel like they're the
That's
team
what I want so bad. But I'm just not objective enough with that team.
I just feel like they're not that they're playing right football at the right time. I just feel like this Georgia team isn't like what Georgia's been like the last few years.
Yeah, but neither is Bama.
That's more coaching though. Bama's more coaching. Like I think they have. We'll see, but I think Texas Tech beats the Mormons. Which the one thing I love about college football is the fact that their coach was rumored to leave Penn State, and then the crumble cookie guy comes in and goes, "Not so fast, my friend," and just hands him a bunch of money.
Yeah, that's the nature. That is the state of the sport. It is not in a great place in terms of all the money.
Yeah,
the way the money is influencing the game, but it is what it is. I'm happy the players get to get paid though. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the moment that Ole Miss loses in the playoff, and basically every single player's phone in that locker room is lighting up with a text from Lane Kiffin being like, "Hey, we're sending
come on down, yeah,
come on down. You're coming to Baton Rouge with me."
Love it.
Yeah, but no. Besides that, though, like I think Alabama wins. I think there's a world where I really want to see Duke win, just because they're a 7-5 team in a conference championship game. It's not going to happen, but it would be
fun.
It would be beautiful.
Good content.
It'd be sick. It'd be sick in a very beautiful. It'd be beautiful in a very sick way. And then I think Indiana's been a great team, but Ohio State's that's an NFL team ready to go.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. I hear that.
We want to see significant others of our friends happy, whether it be Sam, whether it be my wife, whether it be your wife. We all want to see them happy, and that's what makes Sam happy. So that's what we're going with. He's not even going to watch the game. That's how
confident he is.
That's the confidence you just love to have. That's a confidence you love to have. Well, that's going to put a bow on this episode number 411. Hopefully we get to run it back before the season. Obviously it's going to be fun now because you and I usually come on here quite often during the playoffs, and it's a lot of fun when we get to do it now. And hey, there's a Patriot playoff game to talk about at least. There's going to be at least one. Hopefully there's more.
At least one.
It's so good to say. It's so good to say. Also, for a programming note, that's all for this week for everybody. There's going to be 2 episodes coming out next week, one Tuesday, one Thursday. For Sophie Weller, great friend McGarvin there, I'm Griff. Take care, and just remember, it's fun to be 11-2.
It is.
It is so much fun. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.